सदस्यमान भक्तिवेदांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय, नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद से अद्वैत गदाधर शिवास आदि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गौ गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरिवर्धन की जय, वृंदावन धाम की जय, नवद्वीप धाम की जय, स्वामी तो भक्तवृंद की जय, गंगा माई की जय, जमुना माई की जय, तुलसी देवी की जय, भक्ति देवी की जय, स्वामी तो भक्तवृंद की जय। All glories to the Assembled Lord. All glories to the Assembled. Thank you very much.
Translation. Thus, by pure consciousness, due to constant devotional remembrance, they attained the spiritual sky, which is ruled over by the Supreme Narayana, Lord Krishna. This is attained only by those who meditate upon the one Supreme Lord without deviation. This abode of the Lord Sri Krishna, known as Goloka Vrindavan, cannot be attained by persons who are absorbed in the material conception of life. But the Pandavas, being completely washed of all material contamination, attained that abode in their very same bodies.
Tadhyana udriktaya. Dhyana means meditation. So, the Pandavas, always they were thinking of Krishna. While they are eating, they are sitting, they are sleeping, they are talking, they are fighting, Krishna. This is Krishna consciousness. When Arjuna was fighting, so there was also Krishna. When they were dealing in politics, with Duryodhana, there was Krishna. Krishna as his friend, always talking with him, staying with him, sleeping with him, eating with him. So, anyone can do that. Krishna consciousness is so nice. If in our ordinary life we deal with Krishna as Arjuna did and the Pandavas did, so what is the difficulty for us? There is no difficulty. Simply we have to practice it. And that practice is bhaktya. Therefore it is said, tadhyana udriktaya bhaktya. This is only possible through devotional service. Krishna was so near to the Pandavas on account of their devotion. Narad Muni eulogized the Pandavas that Jnanis and Yogis, they cannot reach him, but by your devotion, he is living with you as friend, not only as friend, but sometimes as your order carrier. Pandavas sometimes, during the negotiation with the Duryodhana, sometimes ask Krishna, Krishna will take this letter and deliver to Duryodhana. Agree? Yes? And go. So ordinary peon, then ordinary chariot driver, Partha Sarathi. So this is possible. If we become devotee of Krishna, then you can live with Krishna face to face, talk with Krishna, eat with Krishna, dance with Krishna, even in this life. Even in this life. Because Krishna is omnipotent. If you are really devotee of Krishna, he will talk with you, he will dance with you, he will eat with you, everything. Premanjana charita bhakti vilochanena. Again this bhakti. By bhakti, prem, love, premanjana charita bhakti vilochanena, santa sadaiva, santa, saintly person. This word, Sanskrit word, santa, is also, I think, Latin, saint. Santa. Santa means saintly person. So Santa, those who are saintly person, those who have developed love of Krishna, they can see Krishna every moment. Santa Sadaiva. Sadaiva means every moment. They do not see anything except Krishna. That is saintly person. Rascals inquire, have you seen God? And not seeing God, sir, he is seeing every moment. There is no question of seeing God once. No. Sadaiva. Santa Sadaiva. How one can see Sadaiva? Krishna is already there. Ishara Sarvabhutanam Riddesha Jyoti. Location is given there in the Bhagavad Gita. You can see God. Not you have to go very far away from your place. Wherever you are, you can see. Because God is within your heart. Ishara Sarvabhutanam Riddeshe. Sarvabhutanam. Not only for human being, but also animals, bees, trees, plants, aquatics, insects, Everyone, beginning from Brahma down to the end. God is everywhere. Annantarastham paramanuchayantarastham. God is within this universe, within your heart, even within the atom. So where is the difficulty? Simply you have to make your eyes to see, that's all. That is premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena. Love. It is not very difficult to understand. If you love somebody, then you can see him always. When you are in office, you are seeing, when you are eating, you are seeing, you are going. If you are actually in love, so if it is possible materially, how much greatly it is possible spiritually and perfectly. It is possible. Simply by this method, bhaktya vishuddha dhisana pare. Vishuddha means purified. Our consciousness is not purified at the present moment. But if we purify it, that purification also is possible simply by becoming in touch with Krishna always. And this touch is very easily made possible. Sinnatang, this is the charm, sinnatang. Sinnatang means by hearing, by oral reception. Simply, those who are coming here, even they do not know anything about it. But God has given this ear, and let him hear about Krishna. We are therefore discussing so many, we have written so many books simply about Krishna. Not all books published. We have published about 20 books, but we have to finish it. It cannot be finished, but at least to some extent it will be finished by 60 books. And what is that subject matter? Krishna, that's all. People cannot imagine that about God 60 books can be written. There is no, I mean to say, system of a religion where you can find, not 60 is the minimum, the minimum 60 books of 400 pages can be written simply on God. So that is possible. If we divert our attention to Krishna consciousness, we can chant Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare, Kirtanadeva Krishnasya. We can read about Krishna whole life, such big literature, whole life. If you read 24 hours daily, that you cannot, still you have to devote your whole life to finish this literature. So you have got enough material to become Krishna conscious. My Guru Maharaj was questioned by one big politician. He came to see him. So my Guru Maharaj, he was asking us, what are your activities? So at that time he was publishing one paper, I think it is still published in Mayapur. It is called, Dainik, Daily News. It was a daily newspaper, small. Navadip Prakash, like that. Nadia Prakash, so daily. So this politician inquired from Guru Maharaj, you are publishing a daily paper about God consciousness? Yes. You know what you are writing. You are surprised. The politicians think that newspaper can be filled up with rubbish political news only. That's all. They cannot think that newspaper can be filled up by news from spiritual world. Yes, they have no idea. They have no idea there is spiritual world. So, my Guru Maharaj explained that why you are thinking of only one small newspaper. You do not know what is spiritual world. This material world is 1/4 portion of the whole creation of the Lord. And the 3/4 portion is the spiritual world. And in this 1/4 portion, there are innumerable universes. And in one of the universe, this is one of the universe. And in each universe, there are millions of planets. And this planet, earthly planet, is only a small planet in that universe. And on this earthly planet, there are so many cities. And in each city, there are so many newspapers. And each newspaper has got so many editions. This is the position of the material world. Now think about the spiritual world. The spiritual world is 3 times bigger than this material. And there are so many planets, so many universes, so many activities. So we can produce not one newspaper daily, but every minute a newspaper we can produce. Unfortunately, there is no customer. You see, this is the difficulty. For material news, there are so many customers, but when we put something, spiritual news, no customer. This is the difficulty. Otherwise, you are thinking of one newspaper daily, we can issue every second a newspaper about spiritual news. So this 60 book is not sufficient. It is simply an introduction to the spiritual activities of the spiritual world. People have no interest, they do not know. We are simply trying to introduce it. So this can be understood by Vishuddha Dhishana. Purified meditation. That requires practice. How to purify? Vishuddha Dhishana Tasmin Narayana Padi. And it can be achieved by persons Ekanta Matayo Gatim. A person who has decided, now in this life I must go back to home. For him it is possible. This decision. That is called, in Bhagavad Gita it is described, Bahushatmika buddhi rekiha kurunandana Bahushaka janantasya buddhi abhyavasayana. One who has decided that this life, it is not ordinary life like the cats and dogs. It is human life. I have got advanced intelligence. And it is possible in this life to go back to home, back to Godhead, atata brahma jigyasa, simply by cultivating spiritual knowledge So why should I waste my time like cats and dogs? This determination required. The cats and dogs are busy in eating, sleeping, sex life, and one day dies. So why shall I waste my time in that way? I've got good intelligence. Krishna has provided me a better standard of life. I can lie in nice room, not like the cats and dogs on the street. Krishna has provided for me so nice food stuff, which I can offer to Krishna. Patram pushpam phalam toyam. So nice fruits, grains, milk. So let us utilize these things given by Krishna. Krishna has given different food stuff for different animals and human beings. Krishna has given stool for the pigs and so nice food stuff, fruits and grains and milk for the human being. Not that every food is for everyone, no. What is called one man's food, another man's poison. So the stool is also a kind of food. Everything is a kind of food. Even the stone is also food. You know, the pigeons, they eat the stones, particles. They can digest. For them, the hardest peas are supplied. So they can digest. Pyramotor, it is called in India, pyramotor. Pyra means pigeon. Pigeons, peas. They require such thing. That's like the gorilla. The gorilla animal, where they live in the African jungles, we have read both. There are trees, the fruits of that tree are so hard, harder than the iron bullet. You can hammer on the bullet, it may bend, but that fruit will not bend. So those fruits are taken by the gorillas and they chew it just like you chew peanuts or something like that. Yes. So Krishna has given different food stuff for different animals. So for human being who is determined to go back to home, back to Godhead, they have got their food. For them, no meat eating. For them, no meat eating. For them, fine kachori, rasgulla, puri. For them. As you are, I think Dr. Barnard, he wrote one book, You Are What You Eat. If you eat stool, then you are stool. After all, this body will be stool. Because after death, the result is either the body becomes stool or ash or earth. Those who are burning on the ground, in due course the body will turn into earth. That's all. And those who are burning, like in India, Hindus do, this will turn into ash. And those who are throwing for being eaten by the animals and birds, just like Parsis do in India, they throw, and vultures come and they eat within a second. So, after eating, it will be stool of the vulture, that's all. And so this beautiful body will be resulted in three things, either stool, earth or ash. And we are taking so much care for stool, earth and ashes. And the occupier of the body, forgot. And you are advanced scientists. This is our position. Therefore, it is said, Visuddha dhisana pare. those who are purified in their thinking process, those are thinking I have this body, they are third class rascals. The present world is simply full with third class rascals, that's all. Because everyone is thinking, I am American, I am Indian, I am white, I am black, I am Hindu, I am Muslim, I am Christian. So I am this body, that's all. But they cannot. Therefore it is said, Virajena atmanaivo. Virajena means one who has become completely washed, cleansed. Viraja. Raja means this material world. And B means bigata. Without. Virajena. And it is very difficult to come to this position. Therefore it is said, Abapu Zuru Bapang. It is very difficult to come to this stage of life, but the Pandavas, Abapu, they got it. And for whom it is very difficult, that is also Asadabhi Vishayatmabhi. Who is Asat? Asat means that does not exist, or that will not exist. There are two things. One thing will exist permanently, and one thing will not exist. It may exist for a few minutes, a few hours, for years. So this material world is asat, material, because it will not exist. Just like this material body, it will not exist. Everyone knows that it is born at a certain date. It will continue for certain years. It will produce some byproducts. It will change into different forms, and then it will become old and then dwindle and one day finish. This is called Sarobikar, 6 kinds of changes. It is not progress. If one is progressing in his age, it is not progress. It means he is going to death. Suppose I am 70 or 80 years old. So I am 78 years, I have already died. Only say 2 or 5 years or something like remaining balance. So people say advances. No, advance in death, not advance in age. So this is asat. It will not stay. It has begun to die from the very moment of its birth. If you ask a newly born child how old it is, the mother says it is 1 month old. So 1 month means he has already died 1 month. And balance months and years he has to die, simply has to wait for the death. So this kind of duration of life is called asa. And this kind of existence, this material existence, is also asat. Narottam Das Thakur therefore sings, Satasanga chhari koinu asate bilas, te karone lagilo mor karmabandha phas. I gave up satsanga, Om Tat Sat, spiritual society. I associated myself with the material society. Therefore, I am now entangled by karma, one after another. So, spiritual realization is difficult for person asadbhi. Why it is difficult? Vishayatmabhi. Because they are simply attracted by the 4 principles of material life: eating, sleeping, sex life, and one day death. They cannot. one must be above this interest. One must be very sad man that these kinds of interests are there in the animals. So if I am also interested in only these things, then what is the difference between this dog and me? Something more. That information is given in the Bhagavad Gita. Avinashi tutadevidhi jena sarvamidam tatam. Jena sarvamidam. This body is perishable, asat. But there is another sat, means permanent thing. What is that? Avinashiti tadevidhi. You try to understand that thing which is eternal. What is that? Jena sarvamidam tatam. That which is spreading all over your body. You pinch your body, you feel pain. Why? Because there is consciousness. That consciousness is permanent. And as soon as the consciousness is gone, you chopped off your hand. No response. So that is a very nice statement. Thought, that consciousness is avinashi, is eternal. Where is the difficulty? So those who are not interested to understand this consciousness and the origin of consciousness, they are asat. They cannot understand what is spiritual life. Therefore the beginning of spiritual life in the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that Dehinasmin yatha dehi, in this body, in this asat, this temporary body, there is the proprietor of the body. Dehinasmin yatha dehi, the proprietor of the body. That is to be understood. So, how it can be understood? Vidhuta kalmasa, those who are washed off of the sinful activities. Therefore we prescribe that don't be associated with these sinful activities. What is that? Illicit sex, meat eating, intoxication and gambling. One who is washed up of this vidhuta kalmasa, sthano, that sthan, that place is virajena atmanaiva, vidhuta kalmasa, those who are washed up. Otherwise it is not possible. If you think that I shall do this and do that, then do this, not that. That is finished. You go on doing this, life after life, and remain in this material world. That is the point. Thank you very much.
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So another very wonderful class by Srila Prabhupada. Between the class I was told that I need to facilitate, so please don't mind. Srila Prabhupada began by talking about the Pandavas, how the Pandavas were fully Krishna conscious. They were busy, always thinking about Krishna. Srila Prabhupada was saying when they were fighting, when they were sleeping, when they were eating, all the time they were talking about Krishna. They were Krishna conscious. And then Srila Prabhupada went on to say that to do this is not difficult. We can also do so if we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. If we chant about Krishna, if we hear Krishna Katha, if we read about Krishna, the perfection of the ears is to hear about Krishna. Second canto, third chapter. Bilebato rukrama vikramanaye na shranavataha karna pute narasya. Those ears which do not hear the katha of Krishna, they are like holes, snake holes. Right? So, yeah. And then Srila Prabhupada went on to talk about how there is no shortage of Krishna Katha. There is no shortage of Krishna conscious literature. Srila Prabhupada was giving the example of Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada about that newspaper incident. In quite a bit detail, Prabhupada explained that very wonderfully. How one politician, he was surprised that Srila Bhaktivedanta, he is Shri Shri Radha Gokulananda ki, Shri Shri Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman ki, Shri Shri Gonatai ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. He was sharing how that politician was surprised on getting to know that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, he was publishing a spiritual newspaper. So, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, in his explanation, he said, the spiritual world is 3/4 of this entire creation. Material world is only 1/4. So every minute a newspaper can be published, right? Krishna is Nava Yauvanam. Krishna, his freshness is ever increasing. So his qualities, they go on increasing. Amara Madhurya Nitya Nava Navahaya Swa Swa Prema Anurupa Bhakte Aswadaya. Nitya Nava Nava. Eternally, Krishna, his freshness is increasing. So therefore, every minute a newspaper can be published. If at all there's any shortage, there's shortage of customers. So, yes. And then Srila Prabhupada was telling that whosoever is serious will take advantage of this process or these literatures of Krishna Katha. One who has single-pointed attention. Which verse did Srila Prabhupada quote? Vyavasayatnika buddhirekeha gurudandana bahushakhayanantasya buddhayo avyavasayinam. So vyavasayatmika, one who has single-pointed attention. Ekeha means single-pointed attention. One who has that, they can execute spiritual life. One who does not have that, then they cannot have the resolute determination to practice Krishna consciousness. What's the verse from Gita? 3 verses later. Bhogaishwarya prasaktanam taya apahrita chetasam vyavasayatmika buddhir samadho na vidhiyate. So, Srila Prabhupada's point was that to think of Krishna is not difficult. If somebody can understand that I cannot simply lie down in a nice room like cats and dogs on the street. No, I need to take advantage. So it is not difficult for such people, but it is difficult for those who are asat. So Srila Prabhupada very wonderfully explained this term asat towards the end. Recently I was memorizing a verse from the 11th canto. So there Hridayananda Maharaj and other disciples of Srila Prabhupada, they translate the word asat as uncivilized. So yeah. So those who are uncivilized, those who are asat, they will not take to Krishna consciousness. but one who understands the rarity of human form of life, they will do so. So yeah, these were some thoughts. Would anyone like to share or comment upon anything? There are so many seniors here. Antaranga Prabhu, you'd like to share anything? Go in the... Yeah. Can we pass on the mic, please?
I was thinking about this concept of asat when Prabhupada was speaking about it. And I was thinking from a perspective of what are the elements that you can turn asat into sat. And two things came to my mind, and that was faith and taste. Shraddha as a faith in the process and actually reciprocation from the process. So I'm constantly thinking how you can develop faith and allow people to taste the path and the nectarian relationship with the holy name, with the Vaishnavas, with the Prasadam, with the Shastra. So that's just, if you can anything say about that in terms of how we can churn to a degree that people feel inspired and developing faith, and also developing faith in the taste or in reciprocation from Krishna.
One thing that I have learned from my seniors is one very good way to cultivate faith is by putting ourselves in the midst of those who are faithful. So faith is very contagious. So yesterday also in the morning CC class, this verse was being quoted. Shraddhavana jana hayya bhakti adhikari uttama madhyama kanishta shraddha anusari. So it is faith on the basis of which one is either madhyama, uttama or kanishta. So we should try to put ourselves as much as possible in the midst of those who are uttama, those whose faith is quite high. So when we get such opportunities of association, we should grab them. We should not think that, oh, these senior devotees, they keep on coming, you know. So this week, this devotee is coming, next week, this devotee is coming. This is a bit too much. No. The more we do it, the better it is for us. It is for our spiritual life. So yeah, that's what I'll say. Yes, anyone? I think, yes, Prabhuji.
Well, I would say in order to come to the stage of sat, one has to practice discipline. Mm-hmm. Now, those who are sat, they have no discipline. So, Prabhupada emphasized discipline to come to the mode of goodness.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. Anyone else? Yes, Karan Prabhu.
Thank you for the facilitation. In the class, Srila Prabhupada talks about, like, in terms of age and how the number of age or the number of years one has lived is not how one has lived but how one has died. But Prabhupada also gives a very, you could say, extreme example of a 1-month-old child. So some people may infer it and take it to represent a very careless attitude in life. So maybe could you just share how we can best understand this?
A careless attitude of?
Means like Prabhupada, for example, in the class says that he only has to wait to die. He only has to wait for his death. So like, it kind of like, one could take it in a very careless way, like, oh well, it doesn't even matter anyway, all we have to do is wait to die.
Let me open that example. I missed that maybe. Can you repeat that example? 1-month-old child?
So like Prabhupada mentions that if you ask a newly born child how old it is, the mother will say it is 1 month old. So 1 month means he has already died 1 month, and the balance months and years he has to die. Simply he has to wait for that death. So like that. And then he describes the situation to be asat.
So I don't think it has anything to do with careless attitude. I mean, I don't think it has anything to do with one's attitude towards life. What Srila Prabhupada was trying to explain is that's the nature of the world, that certain amount of time one has to pass in this world. Now, what do we do during that duration of life? That is what can make all the difference. So, let's say somebody is destined to live for 70 years. One has to, and let's say I'm XYZ number of years old, XYZ years old. So 70 minus XYZ, I have to wait for that death to come. Now what do I do in that 70 minus XYZ? That's up to me, right? So I don't think Srila Prabhupada was trying to relate it to the attitude towards life. That's what my thoughts are.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Anything else? All right. Grantha Śrimad Bhāgavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Premanande.